When the morning alarm goes off, you mutter to yourself, "Why did I set it so early?" While brushing your teeth, you think, "I need a haircut, or do I?" Rushing toward the door, you search for your keys and realize they are not there. You cry out in frustration, "I can't do anything right." Then, the moment you notice, your neighbor is standing right there. Clearly, talking to yourself makes you feel embarrassed, and some people describe that behavior as a sign of mental disorder. But decades of psychological research show that talking to yourself is completely normal. In fact, most, if not all people experience some form of self-talk on a daily basis. So, why do we talk to ourselves? And does what we say actually matter? Self-talk comes down to a narrative running inside your mind, sometimes called an inner voice. It is different from mental imagery or simply recalling facts and numbers. Specifically, psychologists define self-talk as directed verbal thinking aimed at yourself or at certain truths about your life. This includes personal statements like, "I need to work on my free throw," but it also includes reflections throughout your day, like, "The gym is packed tonight, I'll come back tomorrow." For the most part, adult self-talk tends to be silent. However, talking to yourself out loud also falls into this category. In fact, psychologists believe that our first experiences with self-talk are mostly vocal. Children sometimes talk to themselves aloud while playing. In 1930, Russian scholar Lev Vygotsky proposed that this type of speech was actually a key to development. By repeating conversations they connect with as they grow, children practice managing their beliefs and emotions in private. Then, as they get older, it disappears, and self-talk becomes internalized, transforming into a private inner dialogue. We know that the inner voice matters. It helps you plan through difficult work situations and motivates you to get through your day. However, studying self-talk can be challenging, since it involves tracking a spontaneous behavior that most often happens without conscious control. That is why scientists are still working to answer fundamental questions, such as, why do some people talk to themselves more than others? Which part of the brain activates during self-talk? And to what degree does that activity differ from regular conversation? One thing we know for certain, however, is that whatever you say in these conversations, they have real effects on your attitude and your performance. Engaging in self-talk, that is instructional or motivational, has been proven to increase focus, boost self-esteem, and help in handling everyday tasks. For example, a college student playing tennis found that incorporating instructional self-talk into practice significantly increased their concentration and accuracy. Just as talking to a friend helps reduce stress, talking to yourself directly may also help you regulate your emotions. When you talk to yourself in the third person, as though speaking to someone else, the effect is even stronger. Instead of thinking, "I am going to crush this exam," you might think instead, "Caleb, you have prepared well for this test." Especially beneficial for reducing anxiety when entering tasks that cause stress, such as meeting new people or speaking in public. But just as positive self-talk can lift you up, negative self-talk can tear you down. Most people criticize themselves from time to time, but when this behavior becomes repetitive or excessively negative, it turns toxic. High levels of negative self-talk are typically a predictive sign of anxiety in both childhood and adulthood. Those who blame themselves for their problems and deny that those situations are a normal experience only deepen their sense of frustration. Today, there are forms of psychological therapy called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, which focus in part on adjusting the tone of self-talk. Typically, CBT teaches planning strategies to identify negative thought cycles and replace them with more neutral or compassionate reflections. Most of the time, these tools help develop a healthier way of thinking. So the next time you catch yourself talking to yourself, remember to be kind. That inner voice is the companion you will be speaking with for years to come. If you found value in this, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below, and tell me, what does your inner voice say to you most often? I read every single one. See you in the next one.